Hello there, welcome back to my channel. I am Abigail Lucy for those who are new here. On today's episode, we will be talking about our sister OSINACHI NWACHUKWU. So, it's quite disheartening and it's quite unfortunate that there's a lot of OSINACHI NWACHUKWUs out there. I've met some of them and I even brought some to my channel. There's a video I did about domestic violence before now. I'm going to leave the link at the description box, but you can check it out. There's this woman that came and the husband beat her with this wire, electric wire, this thick electric wire. That's what he uses in beating her. And a lot of things. You can just check that video and get the point I'm trying to make. Now, for this woman who has been going through something like this, not coming out to say, this is what I'm going through. I'm talking about Sister NWACHUKWU now. And there's a whole lot behind it. Because with the confessions, the opening up she had with some persons, that she is scared of what the church will say. She is spirit. Do you know that our mouth has pushed a lot of persons into their early graves? Mouth. This is our mouth. If we refuse to put a guard over our tongue, a lot of evil will be done through this mouth. It is the same mouth we use in blessing, the same mouth we use in curse. What will people say is what killed our sister OSINACHI NWACHUKWU, because she had the option to leave. That is to say, she had the thought of leaving the man for good. Even though it's been said that the pastor went and asked her to come back, she had the will. You see, I always keep emphasizing on the will. God created us and gave us will. When we refuse to use the willpower that God has given to us, a lot of things will be happening that will be wrong in our life. That means she felt it that I need to leave this marriage. She foresaw that something like this is going to happen and she left. And the so-called church came and brought her back to the house without solving the problem that was on ground. And everybody is saying, we told her to leave, she decided to stay on her own. Now she can't speak for herself because she's gone. What will people say is killing a lot of persons out there. What will people say has put a lot of persons into depression. Yes, it has happened to me. And you know, I always say I share my stories and experiences with you. Yeah. I was depressed at one point because of what people were saying. When I left the convent and I was trying to fix my life, a lot of persons said a lot of things. Even those sisters in the convent, they said a lot of things. Maybe what people will say is killing people. Until I told my decision on having a U-turn and telling myself that my life is my own, and that it is me that will give account for how I live my life. Period. When we refuse to bring ourselves to understand this, we will die because of what people will say. Some fell into depression. Some took their life themselves. But for the case of Sister OSINACHI, the husband killed her because she sat in the house and felt, what will people say again if I leave? It's going to affect my career as a gospel musician. People are not going to listen to me. They will say maybe it's not even God that's using me to sing. You know, a lot of question marks, a lot of why, a lot of how, a lot of this surrounding this woman. And this woman, this gift that God gave, this angel, died because of what people will say. And some are there claiming that they are pastors. I don't know where they study their own theology from, saying it is a martyrdom, it's a cross to die. See, our life is so precious to God. Maybe we've not understood. We've not understood how we are to God. Every person is so important to God that we are our life is so precious. God will not trade our life for anybody. God will not trade our life for anything. We are so important to God. We are the apple of God's eyes. You are so special to be killed and then you say it's your... No. I refuse to believe that. She was killed because this man is heartless. This so-called husband is a heartless man. Yes, I say that. Because if you check all the things that have been happening, even the son had to testify that, the cars they gave to this woman, this man hijacked the cars that she's not going to use the car, to the point that when they are going back from church, that the woman will be standing on the road. The father and the children will be in the car and they will pass her and she'll have to trek back. Is this not barbaric? Is this not animalistic? See, our life comes before marriage. We were who we are before we married. If your husband will not respect you for who you are, respect your dignity, respect your privacy to some point, and then you in turn will do the same, then there's something wrong in that relationship. Mind you, there's no marriage in heaven. In heaven, there's no marriage. Oh, my husband, all these things we do it here. Yes, because God is using this means, this sacrament of marriage, as a means to continue procreation. There's no marriage in heaven that you sit and tie your life to that man and say, yes, you're not going to get you. Yes, divorce is not good, of course. Negativity will affect our children in a negative way. But when our life is at stake, this life that is so precious that God created, God took his time. God took his time to create you. And you tell yourself you do not have other option because of what people will say. Then you sit down there and the useless he-goats. I'm sorry. That man or that woman, is it either he or she goats? Because it's not just men now that suffer, it's not just women now that suffer domestic violence, even some men. There are some men that you see them in their house, you pity them, they are like slaves. They are like slaves in their house. What kind of marriage is that? In the first place, what is marriage? What is marriage? The love of God and man is seen in marital life. You can just, summarize the love of God for man in marriage. The love between the man and the wife. And then, you see yourself killing yourselves, hating yourself, beating yourself, insulting yourselves in the presence of the gift that God gave to you, the children. Tell me, you are impacting this demonic act, this devilish act in your children, and you've seen it as if it's nothing, it's a normal life. And these children grow with this character. They live with this character. And in the future, they start beating their wives. Tell me, how would the world be better? How would the world be better? There's a lot that is happening out there. Let's say no to domestic violence. It's not something that will push us to the right. No to domestic violence, either by anybody. And I was surprised when I heard that this man is an elder in the church. You can imagine, a church elder. A church elder. What would people say? What would the church say? And the bomb that just came up was that this man even has a wife before marrying this woman. And it's like they are still together even. So this woman, OSINACHI, was used as a source of income for himself and the wife he has hidden somewhere, pumping her the money that this woman... OSINACHI was the jockey that was producing. Then he was the transporter of the money to his family. And he has 4 children from this deceitful marriage. This marriage... this is not even a marriage, because if something like this, if it is true, and I fear because it's true, the marriage is not even a marriage. She died for nothing. OSINACHI died for nothing. A man that didn't even love her. No, this man did not love this woman. Because if he loved her, he wouldn't do this. And you see, all these things we do, the church we go, everything we do, all is centered on just 2 things. All this our toiling, all this our open is centered on just 2 things. You know, when Christ came, God gave the 10 commandments to Moses. But the Israelites duplicate this 10 commandments that they got great-grandchildren. Each commandment got a lot of grandchildren and great-grandchildren. So the commandment becomes so numerous that they don't even know what they are doing. This one bring this law and connect it to this commandment. This one bring this one, connect it to this commandment. When Christ came, what did he say? He said he didn't come to abolish the law, but he came to make the law whole. And so he summarized all these commandments into two: the love of God and the love of neighbor. And if you say you love God, whatever you are doing, say it's because of God. You can't see God, but you can see the neighbor. When you love your neighbor, who you can see, that means you are loving God who you cannot see. There is no two ways about this. And you say you love your neighbor, you love God, you don't love your neighbor. What is the point? There's a lot of things that we are doing that are not even connected. We have turned our life, we have turned religion into something that is eating deep, is affecting. You see, religion and spirituality, these are two things that we can harmonize it, and as well, it can be a destruction to us. Religion, yes, you cannot leave your husband if you are married, you cannot leave. Spirituality, how is your spiritual life with God? A lot of things we do this day are just religiosity. Religiosity, yes, so you could, yes, so you be like this, so yes, so yes, so. How is your connection deep with you? How are you? Inner, they read you. How do you look like? When you are naked, you are before God. How are you? How are you before God? This is a question we should ask ourselves and let go of all this religiosity that is killing us. It's killing us. This woman died for a marriage that wasn't even a marriage. Because of what will people say? What will the church say? This is what religion say. And she was dying. She was dying and we couldn't see. We couldn't see that this woman was dying until she's gone. This is a gift that God gave to touch the life of people in a lot of ways. And she just went like that in the hands of this, I don't know the name to call him. So thank you so much. Bye for now.